Thumbelina. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, there lived a kind and gentle woman who wished with all her heart to have a child. She had no family and spent her days tending to her garden, caring for animals, and reading fairy tales. One day, she visited a kind old fairy who gave her a magical barley seed and said, "Plant this, and you shall see something wonderful." The woman returned home, planted the seed in a flower pot, and watered it with love. Soon, a beautiful flower bloomed, its petals glowing with golden light. As it opened, to her amazement, inside sat a tiny girl, no bigger than a thumb. She was delicate and lovely, with soft golden hair and a warm smile. The woman named her Thumbelina, and loved her like her own daughter. Thumbelina lived happily in a cozy walnut shell cradle, slept on rose petal sheets, and played among the blossoms and leaves. She would sing sweet songs, and the birds and butterflies would stop to listen. But her peaceful days were about to change. One night, while Thumbelina was sleeping in her cradle near the open window, a big, ugly toad hopped into the room. He saw the tiny girl and thought she would be a perfect bride for his son. Without a sound, he snatched her and carried her away to the river. The toad placed her on a lily pad in the middle of the water so she couldn't escape. Thumbelina woke up and was terrified. Around her were reeds and frogs, and she didn't know how to get home. The toad told her she would soon marry his son and live in a damp, muddy hole. Thumbelina cried softly, scared and alone. Luckily, some kind fish beneath the lily pad heard her crying and chewed the stem to set her free. A butterfly helped her float down the river, and she drifted away to safety. But this was just the beginning of her journey. As Thumbelina floated through forests and meadows, a beetle flew by and snatched her up. He brought her to his branch, curious about the tiny girl. At first, he liked her, but when the other beetles said she was too different, he dropped her and left her alone again. Now Thumbelina wandered through the wild grass, living in a flower petal and drinking dew. Seasons passed, and soon, winter arrived. Thumbelina had nowhere warm to go and no food to eat. Snowflakes were taller than she was. She wrapped herself in dry leaves and tried to survive. Just when hope seemed lost, Thumbelina found a small hole under a tree where a kind field mouse lived. The mouse welcomed her inside, gave her food, and let her stay through the winter. Thumbelina was grateful and helped with chores, singing sweet songs to brighten their home. One day, the mouse told her that their neighbor, a rich mole, would visit. The mole was quiet and serious, and he lived underground, far from the sun. After meeting Thumbelina, he decided she should marry him. The mouse was thrilled, but Thumbelina was sad. She didn't want to live underground forever, away from light, flowers and birds. While visiting the mole's dark tunnel, Thumbelina found a small swallow lying motionless. It had hurt its wing and couldn't fly south for the winter. Everyone thought it was dead, but Thumbelina saw it move. Quietly, she cared for the bird, bringing it crumbs, water, and warmth. As spring returned, the swallow healed. He offered Thumbelina a chance to escape. "Come with me," he said. "I'll take you somewhere beautiful." Thumbelina was afraid but knew she couldn't marry the mole. So she climbed onto the swallow's back, and together they flew into the blue sky. They flew over green forests, clear rivers, and blooming fields until they reached a sunny valley filled with flowers. In one of the blossoms lived a tiny flower prince, just Thumbelina's size. He had golden hair, sparkling wings, and a kind heart. The prince fell in love with her the moment he saw her. He asked if she would stay with him and be his queen. With joy in her heart, Thumbelina said yes. The prince gave her a pair of delicate wings, and together they flew from flower to flower. Thumbelina finally found a place where she belonged, a land of light, music, and love. She was no longer alone, and her heart was full. Moral of the story: no matter how small you are, or how lost you feel, kindness, courage, and staying true to yourself will always lead you to where you truly belong. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to support the channel.